Throughout human history, there have been many stories of all kinds of ghosts, demons, and spiritual entities, which include all kinds of strange occurrences. One of the most frequently discussed and we will discuss this time is from Japan.A, a story where they come not from the land of the dead, but from the living.Japanese lore and legend is full of all kinds of demons, ghosts, and spirit dwellers, but there is one more interesting subject to discuss, and these entities are known as Ikiryō, or roughly living ghosts. These entities are essentially the spirits of the living who are temporarily ejected from their bodies to wander, often great distances to haunt, curse, or terrify people. The reasons for this happening are quite diverse, and they can take many forms. One of the most common ways to form Ikiryō is through an onslaught of intense emotions, such as grief, anger, hatred, and even supposedly positive emotions such as passion and love. This method temporarily frees their soul from the body, causing it to wander aimlessly, but usually these souls are attracted to whatever is the source of the emotion, and very often the owner is in a trance state, completely unaware that this is happening. Another way to form Ikiryō is through serious injury or someone near death. A piece of popular lore from World War II is that Ikiryō dying soldiers even outside their country could appear to friends or family as the soldier lay wounded or dying on the battlefield. This is thought to be a kind of way for them to give a final goodbye, and there are many cases of people being visited by apparitions of loved ones lying on their deathbeds. Another method that can be used to form Ikiryō is through a condition called rikonbya, literally meaning soul separation disease, or also known as kage no yamai, or shadow disease, which is a type of disease whose primary symptom is that the victim's soul frequently leave the physical body, and this suffering is often said to be passed down from generation to generation. In very rare cases, one may have the power to form an Ikiryō at will and travel in a spiritual form. This ability is known as tobi damashii. Curses are also a way of forming Ikiryō, either originating from an enemy, or intentionally done to exorcise the spirit and take revenge on someone in a spiritual form, which can be done through a ritual called the Ox Hour Pilgrimage. In this case, the person intentionally becomes an Ikiryō through black magic to haunt, torture, injure, or even kill an enemy, though the evil magic can easily backfire and result in them being unable to enter their bodies again. Once detached from the body, Ikiryō is said to take on a variety of different appearances, depending on the reason it was formed or the region. The most common description is that he appears as a sort of doppelganger of a living person, sometimes translucent or hazy, while other times indistinguishable from his actual body. Ikiryō can also take on more frightening appearances, such as a floating disembodied head or soul fire, known in Japanese as hidodama or hidama, a sort of ball of light or flaming fireball. But this phenomenon has always been considered very rare, even though it is associated with living ghosts. Soul fire Ikiryō's powers also vary, mostly depending on the reason they were formed and the intensity of the emotion driving them. Those formed and driven by anger are thought to be the strongest, most destructive, and most capable of affecting the physical world, including destroying objects, moving things, and attacking living things or causing disease, as well as inflicting curses, the ability to incite uncontrollable terror, and even possessing someone else's body. Those formed from unrequited love are thought to haunt the object of their affection and may whisper into their ear or caress or even hold. Ikiryō formed by grief are often said to emit a chill around them, as well as a great sense of hopelessness that will affect life in the area. A myriad of other phenomena associated with Ikiryō are the anomalous sounds of disembodied footsteps, scents appearing out of nowhere, cold spots, and other phenomena typical of ghosts in general. If the visits from this ghost are frequent enough, Ikiryō's victims are often said to slowly become depressed or even go mad. The person who projected Ikiryō may be aware of what they are doing during these episodes, but there are more stories of people waking up with no memory of their wanderings and manifestation as spirits, only hearing about it from terrified locals. Ikiryō appears frequently in classical Japanese literature such as the Tale of Genji and in many fictional classic horror stories such as the horror story collection Sorora Monogatari, and these stories even appear in Buddhist scriptures, and despite all fictional appearances and legends, Many people in Japan have long considered this a real phenomenon to this day. There are stories from all over Japan of sightings and actual experiences with Ikiryō of all kinds. There are even places where one can enlist the services of a monk or priest who specializes in driving away Ikiryō sent by enemies to harass them. It has been incorporated into traditions throughout Japan to this day, true stories of legend and lore that have carried over into the beliefs of many peoples. What is Ikiryō? Are these just myths, or are they real? Whatever the answer, this is a strange case of spiritual phenomena coming from a land known for its mystique, and quite interesting to discuss.